Hey loves, how are you? Today we're just gonna do a check-in, seeing where we're landing after the last few days in all the solar flares and shifting. Sometimes I just like to get a pulse on where things are now. So we're gonna check in with the feminine collective and the masculine collective and what could be the most supportive for all of us. All right. Who would like to start? We're just going to start actually with an overall energy. Like, where are we? What's going on? Let's just see. It feels like with this Three of Wands, what's coming to me is that there's some energies of contemplation and processing before moving forward. It also feels that there is a realigning of some timelines. So what I'm being shown is sort of where the collectives went their own ways for a time, but we're at the higher levels always still working together, like I've always talked about here on the channel. And it feels like there is like this pause and this reharmonization or recalibration in the overall collective connections as we prepare to move into whatever the next steps and stages of what we're being called into. All right. So let's see what else. You see, even I feel like the energy just went into some form of like recalibration. Like everything just felt awkward. Like, yeah. Okay. Let's feel into that a little deeper. Let me know if you guys have been feeling that. Actually, that's somewhat of the energies that the solar flares seem to bring up. It's almost like the things that have been rising to get worked on, the solar flares sort of overly activate those and everything starts to shift at once is somewhat of the energies. So if you guys were feeling some energetic or emotional irritation over the last few days, let me know. Let me know how you've been doing. How are you moving with this? So we have the Ace of Swords, and this feels to me that as this contemplation is happening about what steps are to be made as we move forward, it feels to me that there is a lot opening up with the higher power energies, but also moving into telepathic energies and communication, a deeper knowing. And with the Hierophant on the table, it really feels again like that energetic information with the higher self really becoming involved and embodied. So I want to see how I would like to check in to see how the masculines are working with and receiving this energy. We have the Chariot and the Star. So this feels like there is some fast moving forward movement and energy connected with bringing in this higher power, bringing in this star and this wish fulfillment energy. There, I'm giving you guys like the surface energies right now because to be completely honest, it feels very deep and like there's a lot more going on with this. So instead of just staying surface, I'm feeling guided to go a little bit deeper. Okay. What is up with this chariot and the fast moving energy and the star? Because why I stopped with that space is because in the most recent video, or one of the most recent videos, I believe it was here on YouTube, this star card came up and we spoke about this being where the feminine is welcoming in her dreams and really pulling them into physical reality, but it also was connected with the masculine, like inviting the masculine in, giving him a space to land, like this sort of energetic return back to home. So, if you guys remember which one that was, drop it in the comments so I can remember. Thank you. There's been a lot going on the last few days. All right, so what do we got with this? Okay, we have the King of Swords, the World, and the King of Wands. So, what is coming to me is that in this space with the chariot and the star, we have this energy. Well, this King of Swords is generally like it's the King of Truth, but he can also be very like icy and sort of cold. And with the World card, this feels like the feminine collective actually is how it's coming through. And then having this Knight of Wands, which is a very fiery king. So it's like we have the Ice King and the Fiery King. And what's coming through is actually, as the feminine collective, you see how she's balancing and she's able to harness and work with both the ice and the fire. And it's like the deeper I'm going into this capacity, we've talked also about the horses and being able to wield those higher abilities to be able to work with our energy. And so what's coming through is where the divine masculine collective has been mirroring to the feminines the extremes, right? A very intense, fiery, passionate love and the other side of the frozen, sort of stiff, rigid side of the energies or the closed offness that was being mirrored back to her within her own system is the feminine collective or the masculines here working with their feminine essences have been learning to master the ability to harness and work with both the fire and ice, but in a way that is not freezing things out or burning them up. And what I'm sensing, this is so beautiful when you think about creation, right? And all the elements of the air and the fire and the water and the earth, and the capacity to be able to fully co create or manifest things. It's very important that we understand how to wield and work with the energies, the elements, and the power to sort of come into that right balance of essences and energies so that we are able to pull in and manifest what it is that we are wanting. Okay. So, what I'm sensing and feeling is that we're being called as a collective into this deeper energy of temperance and giving everything this space and grace to manifest in a way that allows us to be more fully harnessing our power. And so now it feels like this sort of fast moving incoming energy is slowing down a bit, but not at a snail's pace. It feels like what I mean by that is that this rider, this has learned how to wield his power as well. And the masculines are coming forward to acknowledge that they have also been learning to work with and wield their abilities. And I do sense like that energy and that passion and that fast moving energy wanting to come forward, but being in a very stable and controlled manner. This feels very beautiful. And as I'm speaking it, I can feel it expanding. And what this is doing as the feminine trusts herself, she's comfortable to trust her masculine as well. And as the masculine has built trust with himself, he is also trusting the feminine. And so, as they're working in these higher energies, and learning how to embody their own full true power and their own true essence. It's supporting their capacity and ability to pull in this dream and this manifestation. And as the masculine collective is stabilizing more and really practicing and deepening their ability with these skills, it's the masculine being able to hold the larger container for the sacred feminine's ability to flow and bring in creation energy. And so, as you've been practicing your inner union and deepening into it, holding space for yourself, trusting yourself, both masculine and feminine collective is how this is coming in. When those energies realign and come back together, both sides are in a much more balanced and harmonious way within their own abilities. And so then they are able to hold space for one another's true power because they've learned how to hold their own. Okay. And this is really, really beautiful. And this is, I can sense and feel the collectives working in the higher energies on this realm within this co-creative manifestation. My words are a little bit choppy at the moment because you can tell these energies are calibrating. So just roll with me on that. But I can sense that this is coming up in conversation because it's opening up into the physical world. And I know from some of your comments that you've been in contact with your counterpart and you're opening these things up. Some of you are in relationship, some of you are not in communication. There's all sorts of varying degrees. And you're all exactly where you're meant to be, right? As you're learning to work with your own abilities and your counterpart is learning to work with theirs. In this process of learning how to wield these and learning how to open yourself up to your true energy, like I've said to you, this allows you, the feminines, this allows you to be able to be strong enough to match your masculine strength. And for the masculines, this allows you to be able to match your feminine strength. No, you're not meant to be exactly the same because when you come together, it expands and amplifies the abilities that you each hold, and then you're supporting one another in a much bigger and broader way. Okay. There's also quite a few major arcana cards on the table. So it feels like the collectives are being held by the divine in a very deep way right now. I want to see if there's anything else that wants to come through with this. That's funny. That card that just flipped was the King of Swords, but it felt like I was just supposed to acknowledge that. Okay. So we have again this sort of maturing and nostalgia process. I have the Five of Pentacles, I was guided, and the Two of Pentacles. So it feels like as these spaces are opening up, whatever each of you is being called into, like we've spoke about the last few weeks, you may find that some old thoughts and patterns or timelines are coming up to be reviewed. And what we're being called to do within these is, yes, process whatever comes up, retrieve the portions of your energy that you're needing to retrieve back, and also simultaneously dropping in the results of the version of who you are now. Because we have all grown and matured, and we have all processed and spent some time in our energetic grief, but we've learned a lot and we are holding new keys. I'm also sensing right now that the collectives actually have some key pieces to share with one another. So I feel guided to encourage each of you to go into your own levels of meditation or prayer or contemplation. And you can just simply ask if there's any keys that you're ready to receive. So if you're a feminine, you could ask to receive from the masculine collective, and vice versa. Masculines, you can ask to receive whatever keys you are ready for from the feminine collective. Overall, it feels very much that we have processed quite a bit of what we were asked to do. And now there's definitely some time and a readiness for a recalibration and some new information to come into the connections. It's funny how I was guided to pick the cards, but this Tower and the Knight of Wands came up underneath, and it feels like there is definitely an opening happening within both the masculine and the feminine collective. And I'm feeling very guided to the heart space. I know it's through the whole system, but it feels very much that now I'm hearing like the drum with Mother Earth, and it feels like a reignition of some of these energies and of the contracts and of the original core soul contracts is occurring. We spoke recently about these tower moments that might be coming, especially for the masculine collective. But again, this feels like it's actually because the masculine collective is ready to expand. I'm sensing that many of them have been praying or asking or meditating or dreaming about They're asking what their next steps are, is sort of what's coming to me right now as I'm speaking this. And I believe they're going into levels of contemplation, trusting themselves deeper. And when they feel comfortable, they will know what moves to make forward. In the meantime, the feminines are embodying deeper and deeper into her power and into stabilizing her creation energy, as we spoke about. So, this is really beautiful. We're definitely seeing confirmation today about some of the messages that we've had recently on the channel. And I'm just going to close it out with one more final message. Actually, I feel guided to pull from the Priestess of Light deck, as the feminines are holding the stabilized container to allow the masculines to open up and expand into their capacity to stabilize. It's what I'm sensing is the masculines are going through this shift right now to actually receive the results of how much they have grown. Because it's coming to me in this instant that maybe they haven't been aware of how much they have grown. And as the energies are opening and expanding between the collectives, it's giving the masculines the opportunity to build their muscle in their experience of trusting themselves deeper. All right. So, what do we got? We have adjustment, looking back and moving forward. So this is definitely synonymous what we spoke about in this. It really feels like there is a readjustment period, and we're looking back to see what we've learned from the past and how much we have grown so that we are ready as a collective all together to move forward in a whole new way. But it does seem very much that we are in this sort of recalibration, contemplation portion of it. But this is where we are really dropping in the results of who we are now. And what I'm seeing is the energies of the collectives sort of meeting back up in the middle and sharing those keys and codes and results. And it feels that much of this may be available in the higher energies first, so that our physical selves have time to recalibrate and stabilize, so that we're able to sustain and maintain these connections in a whole new way in the physical world. All right, loves. Of course, I would love to hear from you. What have you had going on? What's been up with you? And I'm going to drop in the most recent Patreon video into the pinned comment and my schedule if you would like to partake in that. And for all of you who have joined me over there on Patreon, I am so grateful for your connection. You guys have really blown me away. I'm glad I followed my guidance with that. I really wasn't aware of the level of response that would be received and reciprocated. And so I'm very grateful to be holding and sharing that sacred safe space over on Patreon with you. All right, loves, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.